So let's talk about India's 2026 Union Budget. Now, this isn't just some dry financial statement. Not at all. You got to see it for what it really is, a huge declaration of intent. And at the very heart of it, one massive bet. A bet on transforming the nation into a global manufacturing powerhouse. So the big question is, how exactly does this budget plan to make Made in India the next global benchmark? All right, let's decode the strategy.
Right out of the gate, the vision is crystal clear. The finance minister herself frames the entire budget around this idea of Atmanirbharta, which, means self-reliance. This isn't just about abstract economic growth numbers, no. It's a foundational push to build a really resilient economy, one that can stand on its own 2 feet by making things at home.
So before we get into all the specific numbers and allocations, it's super important to understand the philosophy that's driving all of this. See, everything in this budget is designed to serve a much larger, long-term vision for the country. What's really interesting here is how it's all structured. The government has laid out these 3 kartavyas, or guiding duties. And you can see the flow, right? It starts with the pure economics, accelerating and sustaining growth. But then it immediately connects that growth to fulfilling people's hopes and dreams and making sure everyone gets a fair shot. It's a really clear roadmap from policy straight to the people. And here it is, the final destination on that roadmap, Viksit Bharat. This is the ultimate goal, a developed India. But the key word here, you'll notice, is balance. The whole strategy is about being ambitious on the world stage for sure, but also making sure that the benefits are shared inclusively, right across the entire population. Okay, so if Viksit Bharat is the destination, what's the vehicle that's going to get us there? Well, according to this budget, it's a supercharged manufacturing sector. And this is where we pivot from that high-level vision to concrete action and, well, some serious money. And they are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. A whopping 8,000 crore rupees, dedicated just to semiconductor and display manufacturing. In a world that depends on chips for, everything from our phones to our cars, this isn't just a big investment. It's a major strategic move to compete in one of the most critical, high-tech sectors on the entire planet.
And this push is happening across the board. It's not just about one thing. The funding for making things like air conditioners and LEDs has more than tripled. We're seeing a brand new scheme for biopharma called Shakti. And for the first time ever, money is actually being set aside to build 3 dedicated chemical parks. It's a real multi-pronged attack to build a diverse industrial base.
So here's the crucial takeaway. This investment isn't just about making more things. It's about making more advanced things. The focus is squarely on those frontier sectors. Advanced electronics, robotics, biopharmaceuticals. The goal here is to build a truly modern industrial base that's ready for the 21st century.
But of course, these giant factories and high-tech industries, they don't just exist in a bubble. They rely on a huge network of smaller suppliers and businesses. So how does this big manufacturing push support what is really the economy's backbone?
So let's just ask the question directly. With all this focus on big-ticket manufacturing, what's in it for the millions of micro, small, and medium enterprises, the MSMEs? These are the real engine of India's economy, right? Well, the answer seems to be a multi-pronged approach. First, you've got direct financial firepower with a 10,000 crore rupee growth fund. Second, there's practical help. This new Corporate Mitras initiative is basically like a guide to help small businesses navigate all that complex compliance stuff. And finally, and this is so important, a focus on the lifeblood of any small business, cash flow. They're boosting systems to make sure they get paid faster. It's really all about removing friction and just fueling their growth.
Now, you can have the absolute best factories and the most innovative small businesses, but if you can't move goods, data, and people around efficiently, none of it really matters. And that's where the third piece of this whole strategy comes in, a massive infrastructure overhaul.
And the scale of this investment is just staggering, 12.2 lakh crore rupees. That is the target for public spending on capital projects. It's just an enormous amount of money, and it's all designed to build the physical foundation for this new manufacturing-led economy.
So where's all that money going? Into what you could call critical growth connectors. We're talking about 7 new high-speed rail corridors, dedicated freight lines to move goods from east to west, and even opening up 20 new national waterways just for cargo. Think of these as the arteries that are designed to pump life into this new economy.
Okay, now for the final piece of the puzzle, taxes.
This budget uses the tax system as a really powerful lever. The goal is to simplify things for businesses while also providing some direct relief to individuals.
The single biggest announcement here is a brand new, simplified Income Tax Act. The whole point is to make compliance easier and the rules a lot clearer for everyone, whether you're an individual taxpayer or a huge corporation. This is a pretty major structural reform.
Now here's a change that a lot of people are going to feel directly. That tax collected at source on overseas tour packages, which was as high as 20%, is getting slashed all the way down to just 2%. This just makes the whole process of booking international travel way simpler from a tax point of view.
The tax code is also being used to basically roll out the red carpet for global investment. For instance, there's a tax holiday that goes all the way to 2047 for foreign companies that use Indian data centers. Customs duties are being waived for critical aircraft and electronics parts, and a new trust-based customs process is going to speed things up for reliable importers. Each one of these is a clear signal designed to make India a much more attractive place to do business.
So, when you step back and look at the whole thing, the big takeaway is this. This budget is way more than just a financial statement for the next year. It's a cohesive, long-term strategy. Every single piece, from the high-level vision of Viksit Bharat down to the specific tax codes, it's all aligned toward one single, really ambitious goal: making India a dominant force in global manufacturing.
And that really leaves us with a final fascinating question to think about. With this huge, coordinated push across technology, infrastructure, and policy, what is the Made in India label really going to mean to the rest of the world by the end of this decade? That's the billion-dollar question this budget is trying to answer.